What's up everybody? Welcome back to another tutorial. In this video I'll be showing you how to make these procedurally generated cities in Unreal Engine 5.2 using the PCG system and the Polygon city pack that is available on the Epic Marketplace. Alright, without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, here we are. And all I have in this level is a big plane that's scaled up because I'm not using the landscape to grab. We're not using a surface sampler. We're using a spline sampler in this. So the first thing we'll need to do is create a blueprint. Call BP spline city. Then we'll make a PCG system. PCG graph. PCG spline city. Hop into our blueprint. Here we'll add a spline. We'll add our PCG connection here. Select the PCG component, scroll down, and assign the graph that we just made. So we click it. Go. For our spline, we want to close the loop. Okay. Hop back into our level. And let's grab our blueprint, pull it into the level so we can see what we're doing. Grab our spline. Whoa. There we go. Pull out our spline. We'll hold Alt and left click. Drag it out. Hold Alt and left click again. Drag it out some more. Should be a good size to start. Let's bring it out a little bit further. Just so we have the room. There we go. Okay, and what we could do is right click on the spline point, any one will work, and select all spline points, and then right click again, choose linear. That will make things somewhat of a square. Okay, let's hop into our graph. So we'll use PCG here, double click. Let's get these out of the way because we're not using landscape. Let's start by getting spline data. From here, we will spline sampler. We're going to need a number of these. So let's just make them now. Well, first what we'll want to do, set this to interior. Then let's duplicate them. Oh, actually, wait, let's come back. Ball curvature, now we'll duplicate them. Just so we don't forget those two settings. And from this one, we'll say this one is going to be our skyscraper buildings. So let's comment skyscraper or just tall building. Let's get some room here. And out of the spline sampler, we'll want to transform type. And then we'll density filter. So we're updating the default transform in here. And we're filtering it out so we don't have 1,000 of them. It will self-pruning. Move duplicates. And from there, we'll create our bounds modifier. And then we'll spawn the static mesh. Okay. And next is going to be medium buildings. It'll be this one. Goodness. Right, we'll get some space. Here, need to do the same thing. Transform points. Density filter. Self-pruning. And then what we want to do is avoid placing our medium buildings on top of the large buildings. So we'll need a difference node. And the source will be this guy. Difference will be here. We want our bounds modifier. Then we can spawn our buildings. Okay. Now for the small buildings, be this one. Get some room. Small buildings will have these as well. And we'll also need difference. We'll be doing the same thing, except for this guy. Need a difference. Bounds modifier in here. Okay. Now, so we not. Maybe I got ahead a little bit. I don't think we need these. I don't think we need them. Let's move them aside for now. So our difference is the source. Pruning. To our modifier. Difference again. We are going to pull from this one. Go. And then we will pull from this one here. Okay. That's looking good. And then we can spawn our step mesh. All right, now on to the street lights, etc. We will start. There we go. Yeah, so we got the same thing basically. Transform. And we want to density filter. We need our other difference node here. From our transform points, there we go. Trying to avoid everything else there. We will transform again. And that's just allowing us to change the transform of the points after this difference is done. Or after whatever other logic you put in there. Then we will bounds modifier. Difference of this. Oops. Okay. Then we spawn our static mesh. Streetlights, etc. Okay, here we go. So this should be our basic setup. The only one we don't have here, so what we could do is the streets points. We want it to cover everything, basically. Isn't the best, most efficient way of doing it, but it works for now. Okay, we'll connect everything up. Oh yeah, save it. If you haven't already, save it, because it's prone to crash. Roads. And then what I like to do here is I like to make a little cutoff for each one. Because like I said, it's prone to crashing, especially when it's generating this stuff. We'll compile and save. Save again. We got our spline in here, so now we'll bring this window down. This is the best workflow, and it's annoying. But here we go. We'll start our debug off with our large buildings. And we will adjust the bound. Pretty big. We want them to stand out. 15, and now we have a ton of them in here. So let's grab these points. See my stuff. Okay. Turn that off. Let's grab this. Grab our points. Get some room. Okay. This point and this point. Get some more space. Looks like we're going to need it. Turn on our debug. Okay, and this is where we can come back and adjust these settings here. First off, we'll go to our spline sampler. And we will take this one to 55, right there. Treat spline as polyline. Follow curvature, projected surface, and we're going to give a couple of points here on our interior density fall off. Start one a little above 1, 50, 0. Okay. Let's see, this one's more like 3. This one is 1. Value of 0.1, time of 0.8. Oops. 1, what's our top one out? That -2. I don't know. I think I did that because they're the large buildings and I don't want them to show up very often, so they don't show up unless we are, there we go. It's a large area. We'll have one spawn right in the middle of it. So it's good. Okay, let's check out our transform points. And this should be the size of the mesh itself as our transform point. This will change that, I believe. We want them at 2, 2, 5. 225. We're doing absolute scale, non-uniform. Okay. Move on to our density filter. This guy's at 0.9. Yeah, that's most likely because I don't want them to show up too often. And you could adjust that yourself. Get that at remove duplicates. Our bounds modifier is set a little high in my project, but I think it's fine where it is. And we can set our static mesh. You can put this to whatever asset you want. In my case, I use the glass buildings for the Polygon City Pack. So I'll go ahead and use that now. Already have that ready. Boom. And for my project, I also put the roofs on them because they're separate meshes. So I suppose you could export into Blender and then turn them into one mesh and re-import it or something like that. But how I did it was I just duplicated all this stuff, and on the roof I just changed the transform to 14700 on both of these for the roof, not the building, and I set my absolute offset. But for the sake of brevity, I'm not going to do that now. I'm just going to leave them with that. Okay. And now we can move on to our medium buildings. But first, I want to get rid of that, just so we don't have it in there. And also, when you do have these spawn in, to be sure and change your collision to no collision, because that, if you have a gigantic city like the one you saw, it will most definitely crash. You'll need to turn on the collision afterwards, like little by little, or figure out however you'd want the collision to work in your use case. All right, so medium buildings. First, we want to get our spline sampler, adjust the interior sampling to around 3866, which is just what I have it to. Treat as polyline, follow curvature, projected surface, and we'll also adjust the intensity fall off here. And it's just about the same as the other one. You can adjust this per your specific needs. But this one seemed to work for me. Right, move on to our transform points. And for me, I just added a little bit of variation here. So, well, I can't, that's weird. It's a 0.2, 1.6. But that's what it says. Absolute scale, turned off uniform. Density filter is quite low. We got it at 0.316. Our self-pruning is removing duplicates. Okay. Oh yeah, our difference needs to be binary. Inferred. Our bound modifier for this guy is increased scale. Oops. 5. Okay. We can go ahead and spawn these in. For me, wait a second. Yeah. Oh, that's why it looks goofy. Okay. My other graph is a complete mess. But yeah, for this one, I have 3 different buildings spawning in. And I'll grab each one here. Okay, I have, so how to do that is just have 1, 2, 3 entries. Start at the bottom. Here we go. Collapse that. The next one, office building small. Okay, here we got another in there. And then next building, office building large. There you go. Okay, and don't forget, turn off your collision. It's going to be crazy. Crazy crashes all day long, which I was pulling my hair out. I don't want you to pull your hair out, so disable your collision. And then go ahead and save that. Okay, there's our buildings for him. Go ahead and disable that and turn on our debug. And we'll choose a different color. Let's choose green. Okay. Move on to small buildings. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3 small buildings. Perfect. Okay, first thing we got is 1143.4375. I don't think it matters there. Go ahead and pick whatever works for you. That's what I have here. And for my graph, this one, actually funky. I don't know why, but we'll do it. So we got one down at 0. We got one up here. Sure. And you can, of course, feel free to adjust that so it works well for you. It's the interior density fall off, so that's could be important. Let's go to our transform points. This one has some variation as well. Doing our scale 5, 5, 1.1. We have 1, 1, and 1.6. We don't have any offset there. Absolute scale. Difference needs to be binary. Bounds. Yeah, our bounds is increased on that one too. 5, 5, 10. 10. These all to be binary. I really don't know anything about the other ones. Still learning that. Okay. Our small buildings here. Right, for this one I used 4 different buildings. Yeesh. A lot. Different buildings. Let's turn our collision off. Lapse that. No, I used 5. Jeez. Well, there's a lot of options there with the Polygon City Pack, so feel free to use as many as you want. This guy. Okay, you know, that's enough for me right now. Okay, let's disable that. Let's turn on our debug for it. Turn this one red. Go. Probably up here. Increase our bounce for these guys. Probably do 10, 10, 15. They stand out. The red ones. Okay, down to street lights, etc. Let's see what we got here. Okay, spline sampler at 849. Treat as polyline. Project onto surface. Follow curvature. Got another funky. Last one. Transform points. Actually have an offset on this one. 500 and 500. That's it. Density filter, we just have it at 555. Difference needs to be binary. Transform points is offset. 750, 750. Go. Bounds are default. This needs to be binary. And our meshes. For this, I'm going to keep it easy. Just going to use one trash can. Big trash can. There we go. Turn off our collision. There's our trash can. Cool. And we will disable that. Turn on our debug. Oops. You don't need to inspect it. It's fine. See it here. Nice little city grid, and we can remember we can go back and adjust these. Small buildings. Let's see. We don't have a density filter, but we could probably use. Is this the right guy? Is this the right one? Small buildings. What we could probably need is a density filter right here. Maybe not, like, got rid of everything. Said nope. Should be our this guy right here. So it's affecting this one. That's really weird. What's that one? No, see, that's our green. That's working fine. We need to actually fix this. So like we had the other ones. Yep, remember if it, there we go. Shift click. Shift left click. It's 1. No, I want time 1. Value 0.1. Time 0.5. Value 0.5. And then I want time 0. Value 1. Should be it. Anyway, again, for the sake of brevity, I'm not going to screw with that. It's up to you guys. It works for mine. Okay, streets, the last one. Let's get this one done. Looks like our settings in here, 350, 100. We don't have it treating polyline because we have it expanding across the whole deal there. I'm just gonna paste this boy in. That same funky one. Yeah, I'll show you the value. Times 0, value 0.5. Right. And for this guy, do road. Should have a road base that doesn't have lines on it. That's just going to fill it up for us. We really don't need it because we have the same texture at the bottom, but there we go. Road bear. Transform points have no offset. Oh, we do have, so they don't stick to the ground. That voice at an absolute scale. Yep, 350. Okay. Yeah, I don't think it matters because it's they're literally the same color as this. But anyway, okay. Turn these back on. See how it looks. Looks all right. What we'll want to do now, we can adjust this spline however we want, so you can see the road underneath. So we grab an angle, hold Alt, left click, prepare for your computer to crash. Hope you saved it. Ah, nice. Let's go ahead and save it. Spline seed, save that again just in case. Go ahead and increase that, and we can see our cityscape expanding based on our line here. We can make them massive, we can make them small. See our there's our buildings again. And we actually duplicate these, but do it at your own risk. There we go. The only thing that doesn't like is when you undo. If you undo something like a spline movement, it will freak out, and you'll have to delete the blueprint out of the level completely. And you can see it's slowing down as I increase or decrease that spline. I bet I have collision on something in here. Bet. I think I got everything, but just to be sure, you always want to make sure you have Nanite enabled on all the meshes that you're using. Definitely help. Oh, you know what it is? I bet it's this. This guy. It's collision. Oops. No collision, thank you. See, now it's updating. Now it should run quicker. Let's grab these two. Boom, see? Running so much smoother. So much. There we go, we got a massive cityscape. Just a few clicks. Oh, that one slowed down. That might crash me. Yeah, so ode to be careful when you're doing this. Make sure you got all your collision off. Nanites on. Oh, it didn't crash. It's weird. And yeah, I'd say realistically for this setup, turn the roads off because there's no real need. For this setup anyway. Let's see how much it can handle. Let's see if we can break my computer during this tutorial. Yeah, I could hear my fan whirling. And just for reference, I have a 3050, an i7 7700K, and 32 gigabytes of RAM. So it's decent, but it's not the best. So there's a bit of slowdown. And there you go, everybody. Alright, if you're still watching, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. And if you enjoyed the content, press subscribe. If you have any questions or issues, go ahead and hit the comments down below or join the Discord channel to accompany your issue with a screenshot. Be glad to help out where I can.